called was wonderful. So 2 nights ago, this place was packed, and I was sold out. So imagine 10 people trying to weave in and out of cars and all that. So we got the whole place to ourselves. By the way, communication devices, which pretty much everybody has one, except for Chip and Caleigh, because we're the only two. So this is where I start withholding information. I will not be giving you questions here, like what color is George Washington's white horse. I will give you focus questions when we split up, and then you can either focus on those or say them out loud. But I will not give you questions like that George Washington's white horse did. You'll get the answers from your spirit box. So, what is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. The mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and all the way across. We are standing in the servant slave quarters for the home.
7.4.
Thank you. Keep it escalating now. Don't give me anything below that 7.4. So, that's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles and had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. So in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues, so I know which Charles is here. So Jen here's the name Charles. Hopefully Courtney here has some kind of clue so I know which one it is. So we are at 7.4 and 13. Don't you have? That's up to you. Yeah, completely up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, I guess. So, the son and the nephew, by the way, of Eliza, were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined, especially this year. Right? But if I don't give the gentleman that recognition, they will do it for me in a nasty manner coming out of a spirit box. So I just give it to them, we move on. We're going to discuss Eliza instead. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. When I say it slowly like that, it's for a reason. Do not, if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial days when young girls got married. Think of today's standards, because the husband was over double her age when they married. So it's kind of a creepy age gap then, it's a creepy age gap now. By the way, what's the relationship between these parents? Friends? Married? Friends, okay. I always like to know because I never know anymore. But anyway, so she married him because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to basically bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see him. And Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that year to earn a green card because we are not a country yet. She did marry him out of love. This is a true love story. Nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it's a place of respect. Moving on, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue. Courtney's the only one wearing it tonight, because that's what we use it for today. She got those seeds, no idea what to do with them. Learned from her servants and slaves how to keep it going, because it's not always hot here. And she learned how to make the dye, move it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad, told him rice plantation prices are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with this indigo. And she was right. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit. That's why you guys are here. So with each person holding any type of communication device, I am going to give you that set of focus questions. If you go rogue, be respectful, no yes/no questions, and please do not ask about her children. I will reveal why before we leave the space. What will happen here is I'll spread you guys out. I'll do a few round robins, take a lot of notes, and then bring you back to show you how it all ties together in the event we have anything. Holy cow, 24, 22. Yeah, you're going to hang on to that. They're sticking to you. We normally get an average of 18 to 22 years. So we're already 25. So your base is just going to basically be at 25. By the way, the blinky light device that I showed you guys earlier, it only goes to 25. Only goes to 25. Like, that's its max. Right, exactly. We've already had a 24 point something. Yeah, kind of crazy.
And what does that mean?
It's measuring the electricity in the air. So if it spikes, it is definitely not coming from a man-made object because there is no electricity in this space. Michelle, your devices are going to work hand in hand. Here's why. I'm going to do an experiment with you. I don't want to use 2 things for one person, which is spread out. On your right hand, you're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials, ELP. On the left hand, you're going to be looking to see what the L stands for. Because again, she is the second wife named Eliza, Charles, back to back. First wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So her initials are also ELP. So hopefully you get something on your left hand that's going to signify that. Obviously, we might have the clues. By the way, if you're asking questions, your answers can go anywhere. 2 cameras, my voice recorder, any communication device that we have. how this goes. So Jen and Courtney, you guys are going to have the same set of questions, only because you're using a little bit of giving you more out of the spirit box itself. So you're going to be focused on her death. 4 major questions we get answers to: how she died, how old she was when she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are the 4 majors. So pretty open about telling you guys about these details too. And Vicki, as far as your spirit box, you're going to be focused on the mansion. It's not here anymore. What happened to it? You can ask all day long. Hopefully we get what happened to it. If we get that, we often get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that tragedy occurred. And we do proof the tragedy of what happened to the mansion. Keep in mind, your answers in hand and will go anywhere. That's why I love it. Even if there was just 2 of you here, there would still be at least 2 communication devices plus a camera. So that way there's at least 3 ways to communicate back and forth. So if we've heard anything yet, I know you guys kind of.
Question number 1.
Question number 1. You heard nothing yet?
No.
You'll get the gist. So most people suck at this when they start off. Don't feel bad. You'll get better at it. And if not, you can just hand it
No,
off
it's
to
just
Kelly.
like a lot of in and out, but nothing.
Well, also remember, I'm withholding a lot of information. So
I haven't heard any. I'm pretty sure I heard "yeah" by Usher, but that's about it.
Yeah.
so we're up to 24.
Yeah.
So just don't tell me anything below 25 at this point, just so we can kind of see what's going on there. So we're going to get you unmuted. You guys are going to spread out. I'm going to keep Michelle behind with me for just a minute so I can show her more about that particular little Ouija board device, but I'll be with everybody in just a minute. Go listen in without me talking in your ears.
So we have to ask questions.
What?
We have to ask questions. Should we hold hands and ask questions?
I was supposed to ask a question.
We're supposed to ask how old she was when she died. No, we should say it in unison, don't you think? Eliza, how old were you when you died? Eliza, how old were you when you died? Are you getting anything? Here, wait, let's just stand still for a second.
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
Eliza, give us a sign you're here with us. Courtney, what happened?
And Labor Day. Oh my God, it was just Labor Day yesterday.
Jen, you got anything yet?
I got a bunch. One is in and out. I heard. I don't want to hassle.
Okay.
But it's just a lot of songs and stuff.
Yeah. And some people will use their phones to like keep notes with. So if it's,
Here, Courtney, let's go to this corner. Eliza, give us a sign you're here. Wait, we have to ask her questions. What about the president?
I asked that. Our president was at your.
Eliza, let us know you're here.
I'm sorry, Courtney, what'd you hear?
She heard Las Vegas.
So it's interesting when we get like weird cities and states that are in South Carolina and Charleston. I still write them down because the spirit boxes love to predict who's going to be on my next tour. But if a name shows up somewhere, that's with the same Bob. I might have Bob from Las Vegas. I see that car like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, I've also heard like anything from like professionals.
That's okay. And when you start getting like the evangelists, I don't break down like the religious terms because we're listening to, radio stations in the whole city. Like we're gonna have a lot of evangelists.
Yeah.
But if you hear an evangelist say, and then I lived, or you know what I mean, those are kind of whatever. I guess I'm really great stuff.
What is something I would see on this? Like a shadow?
Camera. You might see a shadow. But I'm looking, when I'm watching this video and spot checking it, first off, I watch them in double time. Much easier to see an anomaly going by if it's not supposed to be there, if it's going twice as fast. So normally I look for, like, if you have something that just kind of floats by it, just something like that, I'm going to look to see, like, did it develop in frame? Let me put my hand in view. So did it develop here and then disappear?
Oh, gotcha.
That's kind of like my first debunking process. But if it came from outside the frame and then started moving up this way, it's usually an insect.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've seen a lot of bugs.
Yeah, you're going to.
Gotcha.
I mean, you're right next to the water, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we have caught, this is actually an upgrade of an infrared camera. My other one only saw infrared. It did do night vision as well.
Okay.
So I'm hoping, and I've caught quite a bit with that other one. I just kept breaking them. Like I went through probably 6 or 7 of those in a year.
Okay.
Just because they're a little temperamental. This one's a little bit more bulkier, and it can handle a lot more.
Gotcha.
And it has those extra functions of night vision. But it's a great documentarian kind of piece,
too,
because it picks up great sound. Not to mention, it just makes a great video for you guys overall. But do I watch for orbs? Mainly.
Yeah. Okay, so orbs.
I've caught other shapes that I have no idea what the hell they are.
Oh, okay.
Like things just kind of manifest. It could be a butterfly, but there's no way it's a butterfly.
Yeah.
Because it's way too large, or it just kind of disappeared out of nowhere. Like, we've seen weird shit.
Gotcha. Okay, because I'm not sure what I'm exactly looking
just like
for.
a toe chip, too. I don't always follow up with the cameras in real time because they're so small. So I do send them to YouTube, all the videos, so you guys can watch them on your TV. I watch them on a computer screen.
Gotcha.
So if I don't follow up with you as much, and I'm talking to all the communication device people, that's the reason why.
Gotcha.
It's not that, like, I'll ask you, hey, did you capture anything? And you say, no, not yet. That's cool. That's kind of what the expectation is.
Okay.
I'm going to find when I get back to the office.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, super fun camera to work with.
Yeah.
And again, just keep an eye on your batteries. Battery for the light is up here. I carry an extra one of those.
Gotcha. I see this has gone down 2 bars.
And it'll say goodbye. Guy freaked out on me the other night. He's like, I think this thing just talked to me. Like,
that's funny.
On the screen, it'll say goodbye.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Anything?
Not yet.
I'm embarrassed. I burped, and I think the camera got it. Oops, my bad. Are you getting anything? What does it sound like?
It's like in and out, like songs, commercials.
Eliza,
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
Eliza, we want to talk to you.
By the way, you can feel free to steal that thing from her.
I keep hearing Rolling in the Deep, but not like
By
specific
Adele?
lyrics. Yeah.
Eliza, do you like Adele? Eliza, let Courtney know you're here.
Moving through the stations, so we'll come back to it. Kind of give Vicky another minute to see if they get anything else.
I keep thinking I'm seeing something, but it's just the light.
Yeah. Anything else? How are your numbers? 0. Okay, it's time to wrap them up. Okay, everybody's go ahead and hit your stop button.
Bye-bye.
Down the alley. If anybody comes through the alley, including other tours or other tourists, we'll just split the seat. You guys will point your cameras downwards. We will understand the shock of your feet. We don't want to make anybody feel weird or uncomfortable. Remember, you're at an 8 or above is what we're looking for. All right. Welcome to Philadelphia Alley. It's what we call it now. However, oh, by the way, we're going to be here. We're going to stir shit up and we're going to leave. Only because I can't take you all the way through the alley. This is another space I've been kicked out of. I'll tell you about that before we leave. Because, yes, that's the funny part of the story. But anyway, this used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because it was illegal in the 1700s. You have to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of them. So here's how the story goes. Every ghost tour comes down here, and they all tell the same story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire marshmallow kind of ghost tour. So kind of keep that in mind. And we do have I don't know if they're walking away from us or if they're walking towards us. So just kind of be mindful of that now. But at any rate, here's how the story goes. I was going to take this out of my route, but this guy follows me around because we will be near a place of raised emotion of his for the rest of the evening. He loves to show up in all kinds of places. He does have a code word to let me know who's around on a spirit box. I'm not going to tell you guys what that code word is, so when it does occur, I'll let you know. And it's not a word you would commonly hear on a radio station, so when we do get it, I definitely know it's him. You see the point? All right. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's your first RI. That's what that one's going to mean. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Now, in the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up on Jen's recording while we're here, it's not coincidence. It happens all the time. It's part of his name, so the word Brown. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just got. So you may want to just lower your camera until they pass by. I'll keep talking. So Doc moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to make his own, starting his medical practice down here. The coachman, he's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. I got friends there. They'll rent your room. They'll be safe and good to go. The doc took him up on that offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. Proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor.
What?
Exactly. This is actually part of the reason why I hate the stories, because every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I know, I was on camera again, so every haunted city has a cliched whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a doctor. There is some legitimacy here. Obviously, we have some of it already. The word whistling, as we're kind of getting closer to this alleyway. But why are we standing in Jeweler's Alley? Let's get into that. Doc and Ralph listen plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. On the way home, they're discussing the new actress that they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance. Back home in Rhode Island, it got really ugly. They go their separate ways. By the way, that's another southern word I picked up was got ugly. It's not something we say in Ohio. But sorry, we were talking about language earlier. It just popped up in my brain. But anyway, Ralph left that whole argument, but he went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc, saw the ad, obviously, and rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. So they came down here. They took their 10 paces. By the way, that argument started over an actress. I just like to point out how dumb shit was in 1700s. They're back to back. I know, right? Take 10 paces away from each other. They turn. Doc points his gun in the air and shoots his one bullet. Didn't want to kill his friend. Just to get the courage to show up. But Ralph still has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed. Doc's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about that last statement. First, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But obviously, he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here tells their guests to listen for the whistles while they're here. We have 2 cameras running and plus my voice recorder, and obviously we're getting the word whistle on spirit boxes. So, if it's going to show up on a disembodied way, it's going to show up on an audio format from the cameras on my voice recorder. But I can't tell you how many times we've had the word whistle come up on a spirit box, and on a recording, a lot of times we'll get the whistling part of a song, and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Doctor, get it all the time. It's just him saying hello, letting us know he's around. There's a lot of other things about Dr. Ladd that I have not told you that do pop up from time to time. I'll let you know what those things are when they pop up. I'll be able to verify those things for you. So let's talk about how I got kicked out of here. Oh, first off, if you're going to try this on your own without me, because I can't take you all the way through, use the voice recorders from your phone. Just remember, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alleyway. It's just something we do here. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. But, well, you jumped pretty good there. So this alley didn't always go all the way through that way. There was a wall about halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street because this was called Cow Alley before it was Jeweler's Alley. So that means that they kept the livestock down here. That was a nickname. So they started down there by Queen Street and worked their way this way. That means those bricks are older than these bricks. The They started it. So those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there with fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. We all need to see how far we've come from slavery. By the way, you already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. I know nothing's going to happen. However, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick with the handprint, waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoot them along because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds. So, he came out screaming, by the way. My daughter was on the tour that night and thought it was absolutely hysterical that her father was getting screamed at by some random stranger, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays mainly, especially Thanksgiving, because I worked in upper management for Walmart, and you all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and you scarred me for life. I just stay home on Thanksgiving. So, the next day, I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened so I could figure out what to do next. It's Black Friday, I'm sold out again, and I'm freaking out. So, he says, he's laughing, just like my daughter did, by the way. He's like, you can't go down that far, dude. You gotta reroute. You can only go down halfway. So I told my group that night, I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but I've been kicked out of there too. But I did not tell that group which pirate we were going to be investigating. Somebody, before we left, heard the name Anne. Didn't tell them it was going to be Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. Normally, if I tell you pirate stories in Charleston, you're thinking Blackbeard. That's usually the first thing on everybody's mind. We got up around the corner. I told them what I knew about piracy, which wasn't much because I wasn't really hip on the subject. Somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant, so I wrote it down. I do the research back at the office. Turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720.
Wow.
It's the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Now, I have been to that location dozens of times with equipment and never got anything. So, the interesting thing is that normally I was expecting a lot of things that were happening over there, but I'm starting to realize it could have been bleed over from another nearby story. So, the next story that I tell you about this Sue Howard Hardy bit is a story that I don't like to tell. I'll explain that once we get up and around the corner. I'm actually going to be replacing it probably starting next week. I've been always looking for something new, and I think I may have found it. Only because I've been getting clues from it all along and didn't even know it. And nobody tells that story anymore, which is very interesting. So hopefully we can capture something. What we're going to be looking for at the next spot is going to be an apparition. I'll tell you what goes on with this apparition. But Callie's camera is going to be the major focus, but Chip, you're going to keep your camera against the gate up there as well, basically taking the same shot. Here's why. If we find something on that camera that I can't explain, I want to see how your camera reacted to it. So that way we have the exact same shot. Spirit boxes, after I'm done obviously going through the history, you guys are going to turn up your spirit boxes again, and you're going to let me know what you're hearing. We'll stay up there and get about, 5 to 8 minutes worth of footage from the cameras. It is a popular stop as well, so I don't know if other tourists are going to be waiting for the spot. From the looks of this, probably not. Looks like I'm the only person working tonight. And by the way, I don't consider this working. I just think you guys do something. That's what life is. Any crazy numbers?
Nothing.
Anything crazy out of yours?
What knee was he shot in?
I don't know.
That's the word laptop stuff when we were talking about before.
Ooh.
I'll dive in and see if I can find that. I don't know that I've ever known that answer, but I'm not afraid to say that I don't know something. So I'll definitely dive into that when I'm going through the research. You didn't have your headphones on.
No, I was
did you?
listening to you.
No, it's okay. It's your night. Did you hear anything? All right. So let me take a look at your screen. Let me just make sure that you're still sweeping. Yep, it's still going. Is it too fast?
I don't know.
It's okay. I can always slow it
Like
down.
maybe it's me, maybe it's the
This one is. Slow it down. Let's try this.
That's good. It's really low.
Say when.
That's good.
Let's try that. That spirit box is still new for me, so I'm still working with the settings. So I actually had you set up faster than Jen's. So just because that one works off of kilohertz as well. So my temperament, when I was listening to it, was like, oh, I can go with these settings. So that's what you set up on initially. We will unmute when we're going up around the corner, but once we get started up again, we'll get you back on mute so I can tell the story, and then you unmute again. How's your light battery? Where you at?
3
Still on 3?
out of 4, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Should I
Alright.
stop recording or should I continue?
That's completely up to you guys. We're only going up and around the corner, so
Okay.
if you want to continue, that's cool too. All right,
heard
let's
2 zeros. I don't know.
2-0.
That was like the favorite thing I heard in so long.
Something else to go with it.
This is something new. Sorry, I'm just speaking it out loud so I don't forget. I also heard selective road. Oh, we're leaving that out.
Is that where we've been parking?
I think so.
Let you guys have a seat. We can talk about the history of this before we go up and do the actual experiment.
Oh, a cat!
Jackie. Jackie's always stealing my thunder. She's always around. She's very friendly. Trust me, she'll come up to every one of you.
Oh my god, please not me.
Just named her Jackie. And I named her Jackie because I would normally tell you the pirate story across the street, and one of the any lovers of Anne Vine was the real person that they based your Johnny Depp character from the Pirates movie off of. His name was Caleigh Jack. So I used to call her Jackie Jack until Jackie showed up pregnant. Oh, your name's been changed to Jackie. Did you hear anything along the way? What do we got?
I had go and then stop.
Go and stop.
I heard 220 and then I also heard 50.
Oh my god. No, I'm sorry. I'm so scared of cats. No, they freak me out. And it touched.
You would hate my house.
No, Justin, I didn't.
Hi. I'm scared too, but I'm.
Anything coming?
We are backwards.
What was it?
We are backwards.
So RD. We have the RD though. Yeah, with two initials, I usually want them like consecutive. Normally initials at all. I normally look for them. I love how she's filming the cat.
Oh,
by the
sorry.
way. I know, right? Jackie could like be a ghost this whole time, and I'd never know it.
You didn't know.
Everybody would.
Bye-bye.
She's gonna go visit everybody else again. All right, so every ghost tour ends then. Let me tell you what.
Are we ending?
No.
Oh,
they
okay,
did.
just checking. I was like, I
So
didn't get
I
anything yet.
usually would normally let them have it. I wouldn't even tell you the story until something popped up, like Caleigh, or I would have to tell the story to tell you why we have this going on. By the way, we're probably going to be here for like 5 or 10 minutes if you want to stop your cameras, because we're not really going to be filming much. Steve Caleigh, so if you want to get a shot of that first, and your camera does.
Oh, whoa.
Yep, it is right there. You guys can put your cameras like right against the gate, and I'll show you exactly where the headstone is at. Caleigh, did you figure out where the zoom is?
Yeah, it's on the top here?
Yeah. Yep. So do you guys see the cross headstone in the background?
Yeah.
So to the left of that, one more row back. So we were actually closer to Sue's grave back in the alley than we are over here. So that's why I wasn't surprised when Howard came through for you guys. But yeah, we'll stay up here for a few minutes, and that light up there to the left, that was actually put there intentionally, so anybody trying to take photographs, it causes a light flare. So nobody's trying to recreate it. But my cameras see right through that shit.
So aim for the cross.
I mean, you can pan all you want to, just to see if we get any kind of activity. I'm trying to see, I don't think I've had anybody like actually pan the cemetery with that new camera just yet. I'm glad that thing has a hand strap. Because if you drop it, $200 down the drain. How are we doing on the works? No work. Obviously, you're looking for change on this. Anything previous on the planes, naturally, yeah, that was after you said left over and muscle that they were telling us we were in shot. Let the muscle move it out and stretch it. That was pretty light, at least from a first glance. So we don't know. I mean, usually when I get it, like, well, I can see the timestamps on it. I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know how we missed that. And it's not we, it's me. Like, because I'm the one that has the knowledge of it. You guys don't know what I'm looking for all the time. Just turn that thing on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See if you're getting listen. That was weird you talked about that guy because I heard somebody laughing right behind me and there was nobody there before you even told that story. Mel's voice just like it was. I was expecting someone like a straggler from a group.
Yeah.
That Mel's voice. I'm like, I was like, so
before I told you this
yeah.
story. That was weird.
Yeah.
It's like I have.
Thing picks up a lot.
Yeah. And that's on a slow speed. This one doesn't report, so I'm relying on you. Slow as it goes.
Thanks.
You guys got anything out of there?
No.
Yeah. Store 140 years ago.
Yeah, but the number 7 shows up for how much you know.
What was 140 years? I can't do math right now. 1880. That's seven scores is what she said, right?
Score of what, 12 years?
20.
20.
So it'd be 140 years.
1884. Close.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Something happened then?
This whole incident, she died in 1888.
Oh.
What's funny is we normally get a commercial with the phone number 1888. It happens to all the time. Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll look up to see when she got married. Because it may have been that exact year. We're not going to get the husband's name because it's Gaston. So unless Gas and Ton show up on the word list, that's the only way we're going to be able to get that because Gaston is not a common name. What's our count look like on your timer there, Caleigh?
7 minutes exactly.
Okay. Give about another minute or so. 7 scores. Did you guys pick up on that? Did you guys pick up on what the heard? She heard 7 scores.
Something 1884. What happened?
I don't know.
What happened?
Oh my god, it's just really clear. Yeah.
That sounds like masters.
Master?
Master?
And then who heard never gonna be free? Somebody heard never gonna be free.
Next time that was it.
30 miles? Is that what that said?
Sound like 30 miles. Yeah.
Sue, we're gonna wrap it up. Any last messages for this group? We'll take it.
Well, Howard.
Forget?
Forget. Did you forget?
Do you want us to forget? Anywhere. That's good plan, Caleigh, and we'll call it quits.
Okay.
Go ahead and get your camera stopped. We'll move down so that we'll stop. This was an interesting round, and everybody's a gentleman in 1933. So he stopped to help her, trying to figure out what was going on with her, why she's screaming, and why a woman's on the ground. He's trying to help her, and he can't figure it out. But she's saying the same thing over and over again. A man hit me, I know I'm going to die. So he picks her up, puts her in a car, takes her to the hospital, where MUSC is now, but it's called St. Wilbur's back then. It was northern side of what we have now. But anyway, she gets down there, she has a doctor. The doctor's name is Dr. James Avery Finger. It's a silly name, but we've gotten all 3 parts of his name while we've been talking about her before. So I always make sure I say it slowly. Doc can't find what's wrong with her either. said it again. A man hit me. I know I'm going to die. She did. Right on his table. Her name was Mary Ravenel. She came over here from Mount Pleasant. She came over the giant bridge that leads you downtown. That's the Ravenel Bridge. We also, if you watch the TV show Southern Charm, the Ravenels are a character on that show for a good reason. It's a prominent name there in Charleston. Sorry about the church bells. Normally I wouldn't tell you that they're going off unless you think it's crazy, but we're going to tell you tonight. But anyway,
spooky.
so, welcome to the Holy City. They go off every 15 minutes. So, the doctor couldn't find what was wrong with her. They sent her over to autopsy so the coroner can figure it out. The coroner found a straight underneath her arm, and then a bullet hole inside of her ribcage. She was shot with a .38, and it went across her chest and pulled her throat. Now, here's what we know. There's no gunpowder residue on her body, so it wasn't a close shot. All of her jewelry and cash intact. She wasn't a robbery. She's 64 years old. So that should start changing the questions that are in your brain right now. Most people picture a younger woman when I tell the story. She's from Detroit, and she married into the Ravenel family. So my assumption, as an assumption, I can't prove it, is that a northerner married into a southern family, and the southerner died. It doesn't make it look good for the northerner that's left to the southern remaining family. You guys see the point on that? So I can't prove any of that, but that's my assumption. So what questions would you ask this woman so she didn't want to tackle Vicky's ears? If there's a theory behind your question, I'll let you know what it is. Come on, you guys watch the Law and Order.
He has any blood in that book.
Any bad blood, okay? What else?
What were you doing when it happened?
Okay.
Where were you going?
Ask that question. I was going to say location, I think it happened. Okay. And it's okay to ask questions that we can prove as well.
You know what he looked like?
Did she know the person, maybe?
So
Was it someone who's familiar to her?
That's a great question, but I want to go back to Courtney for just a second, because she did ask a yes/no question, and it's okay in this instance because we're working with direct line EVP. She'll elaborate. No, I did not use those words, but yes, I did. So it's not like using a spirit box or using radio chatter. You can't determine if it's just radio chatter, yes or no. That's why you throw those out when we're getting a direct line. Yes, I will take yes/no question. But what did he? Was that again, Caleigh? What did he look like?
Well, she asked what did he look like. I said, was it someone she recognized? Like maybe it was someone she knew?
Oh, she asked that employee. Okay. So she was also like president of the country club here. Like she actually hosted Robert Frost when he came here to obviously celebrate some poetry. So this was a pretty prominent lady here in Charleston. Let me tell you what we've caught so far, and then I'll tell you why I told the story. Before you guys think of a couple more questions. So this is the new space for this year. I bought that voice recorder just to do this. Like that's the whole sole reason. I wanted something a little bit different than what you guys normally see. So one night, and I started coming here on November 1st of last year. So we were weeks and weeks, nothing was really going on. And then one night, somebody listening raised their hand and said, "I just heard a female voice." Nice quiet night, just like this. I sent somebody around the corner to make sure there was nobody down there. We're looking around. There's nobody around. I go back to the office and listen to it. Help, help in the background, female voice. Very cool. Wait, it gets silent. A couple weeks go by, still nothing. Next person all of a sudden says, "I heard a female voice." This is weeks later. Nobody around. Did the same thing. Send somebody around, blah, blah, blah. Go back to the office. Help me. I have fallen. Now, I have the word help, which is a keyword that we said in a previous EVP. I'm able to compare the sound waves. They are identical. It is the same voice. I have some mumbles. But I don't count mumbles because you can't make them up. I don't like to hand over stuff that I can't, like that. It's a possibility. With this, I want it straight up. I shouldn't have to tell you what it says. And that's with the first two words that I told you. Any other questions that you would ask Miss Mary before I tell you why I told the story? Okay. Alright. Some of that stuff gets really loud in here. You guys will be able to pass that around before we leave the space too, in case anybody wants to see what the heck we've got going on. So the next session that I told you we're going to be doing with the blindfolds and the VR and all that stuff, I wasn't doing the story, nor did I know about it. So one night I'm doing the blindfold test, and one of the blindfolded people says 33 murder Mary. I don't know what any of that shit means. I wrote it all down once I got back to the office, but we also had an image that showed up through the virtual reality tools. So I'm like digging around for any stories dealing with a Mary. I've I'm just thinking it's bleed over from somewhere around here because we're literally going to that part right behind it. So I'm like, I'm looking for all these stories around Mary, but I'm going to show you the image that showed up that we got through the virtual reality piece the same night that we had Murder, Mary, and 33 all at the same time. You're going to see Mary Ravenel on the left and the image on the right.
I don't like
Look at the facial features, eyebrows, lips, cheekbones, like, almost identical. I could probably do a layover with this, and you would actually be able to see how close the relation actually is. So, this is how I come up with the stories that I tell you guys. So again, I'm not like, what are the, buy the Charleston Ghost books, you know what I mean, at the bookstore like you guys are doing. That's great. I might pull one or two of those here and there, like the Sue Howard Hardy story, that's always going to be a tale around here. But the story I'm replacing it with, they stopped telling that story. And I don't know if it deals, because it deals with a freed slave or not, but it's an interesting story that's almost a parable style. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to capture something with the cameras that we're using, but I know I've already got things from spirit boxes with that. Anybody else want to test out what this thing actually sounds like? Have you heard anything?
I heard earlier, right before we were like, does anybody have any questions? And it got silent. I heard faintly questions. And then with all the other noises, it's been hard with all the.
Yeah. Imagine doing this on a weekend.
Yeah.
It just ruins the recording. Like, it's horrible. Anybody else want to take a listen? Wow. It's usually all or none with you guys. I think it's hysterical. Like, you guys all like hesitate.
I'll try.
Okay, here we go. One
Why
taker.
not?
All right, so
My
7,
hand's getting a
7,
cramp.
6. Yeah, you can just stop the camera and just set it down. Of course, I'm not going to blindfold you. But... Still didn't do it. We are listening, Mary. Last chance. We're going to wrap it up. If you're here, give us something. If not, you know where we will be. Alright, kid, give it up. There we go. Alright, so, have a seat. When I came in here, it was November. You guys see the pattern. It's always after Halloween. So I only had 2 people because everybody canceled. It was freezing that night. And I just told the lady, we're going to experiment with new spaces. Just tell me whatever you hear on a spirit box. I didn't even know who we were looking for. Well, she heard the name Henry in the year 1828. And I was using the word generator to give me the name Tim. Well, behind me is Henry Timrod, who was born in 1828. So it was like, there's my ghost. That's an easy one. I already kind of knew his story, but here's the gist of it. He's a writer and sick through most of his life. So being a writer, he's also born in 1828, that makes him eligible to go fight in the Civil War as on the Confederate side because he's from here. So he goes out to the battlefield. His comrades realized he was too sick to fight. So they sent his ass home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war, man. Go tell people what's going on out here. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was happening on the battlefield. I started to impeach this guy right next to Emily Dickinson and Edgar Allan Poe, by the way, because his work is that important. He did quite a bit of it. Anyway, he's doing pretty well, publishing his poetry, and he has a son by his wife, Katie, and the son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, but he died 9 months later. So obviously Henry's not writing as much because he's mourning, his wife. By the way, Henry is the one that died on October 6th, so 1867, I believe the right year is. So hopefully, if we get the number 67, that would be very interesting too, since we already have the other date. But Henry has a friend. His name is Paul. He's another writer. And he says, dude, you're not writing as much. I know you're mourning over your son, but go use my cottage, get back on track, leave Katie behind to mourn with her parents that were here visiting. So he goes out to the cottage. It's in the middle of the state. And that's where he wrote his last words. His last words, beholder of brief mortality, which in modern day English means dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis and died right there, age 38. Now, they show this page one day a year on Halloween only at the Charleston Library Society, because that's where all of his collection is being held, because we call that page the blood book, because the blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk.
Oh,
Yeah, super creepy. Now, you got to be a member of the society to be able to go see it, but the internet is beautiful. So I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to a ghost. We're going to stay pretty close to them over there, by the way, so in the event that other people are walking by. But here's the blood book. Let's get through that part.
Oh, wow.
So I will zoom
Yeah.
in on your blood stain, and there will be a link to this blood stain when you guys get your data report back. So I make sure that is always in there, so the people that are blindfolded get a chance to see why they're here. By the way, the people that are blindfolded, so two ladies, I'm going to need your help. In the event they're too loud, which she might be, she has that kind of voice. We do have neighbors. I try not to piss them off. I'll need you guys to tap them on the shoulder, and I'll basically bring you in to tap them on the shoulder. They're also not going to be able to hear me for when we're done. You're going to tap them on the leg, and I'm going to tell them all of these things when we get over there, so that way they know to take off their own gear. I don't touch the people on the bench. I hope you guys appreciate that. I'm not a creeper like that, but that's kind of the motions we're going to go through. But I'll give them the heads up, and I'll be the one asking the questions. If you guys want to, have something that shows up on your device, just let me know what it is. If there's a certain question you guys want to ask, just let me know what it is. Now you can ask them. We'll kind of see how it goes. Every once in a while, if somebody chimes in with a new question that I don't normally ask, we normally get a direct answer. So we'll see what happens. He's not always happy about me being here, by the way. I just point that out to you.
Oh, then no.
Oh, then no. Really?
You thought we did good.
Are these like ear holes?
Yeah.
Oh.
So rip it. Okay, so a couple of things before you guys put everything on. So, ladies, you're not going to be able to hear me. You're not going to be able to hear me. So, in the event that one of you is too loud, I'm going to tap in your family member to come tap you on the shoulder. Quiet down a little bit. I have a feeling it's probably going to be you. So, I just don't want to piss off the neighbors. Again, it's a random Tuesday. Looks like they're already in bed sleeping. But when we're done, because you're still not going to be able to hear me, your family member will come and tap you on the leg. So that means you take off your own ear. Your spirit box should be loud enough where you can't hear me at all. I'm going to be asking questions. As you hear something, you say it. It's that simple.
Like we don't know what you're asking.
Exactly.
We can't hear you.
Just say it out loud. Just say it. If you hear, just when you hear it, say it. Hear it, say it. Just keep talking. So they're obviously going to be talking quite a bit. So when you see an image, just describe it in a brief manner. 3 people, bench, tree. If they're not talking as much, which I don't think is going to happen tonight, I will ask you probing questions like, what are the 3 people wearing? What time of day is it? Are they white folks, black folks? Like, I'll ask you specific questions. So, have you ever done virtual reality before? Okay, so this is not going to be Jurassic Park where like the dinosaurs eating space. So in a nutshell, you can have like a galaxy off in the distance, on the sides, and all you have to do is look straight ahead. Every once in a while, an image will show up in front of that galaxy. The galaxy is in there as an ambient, so that way you won't fall asleep. Otherwise, you'll be in complete darkness, and after 10 minutes, you'll be asleep. Just trying to set it up. So that way, all you got to do is look straight ahead. So there's a galaxy, that's what it will look like. Just moving around in there. Just try to look straight ahead, don't look down because we'll hit the virtual buttons. And it will line up with you once I get this set up in here and you'll look straight ahead. Your focus is right here. So in case you get in there and it's blurry, just on your focus. Ladies, if it's blindfolds, then headphones. It is 11:19. So we'll do this for 10 minutes and kind of see where we're at. How are we doing on our words back here? You shitting me right now?
What did it say?
Okay. What color is the blue banana?
No, it doesn't matter.
Perfect. You can't hear me. Henry,
Wait, I can kind of hear you.
and let's turn up your volume. Doing.
Okay, I think that's good.
Henry, can you tell us about your work? You've already gotten part of the date. We're out there on your desk. But I want to talk about your work first. Tell me what you did for a living. You show me. This is Chip. We can see you in the blue box tonight. You're also wearing a blue shirt.
Whatever I was in.
Henry. Be ready for that shoulder tap. It's probably
Oh yeah.
Henry. I'm hoping you're going to give us a lot of images tonight. Use that blue box, but continue to try to come up with something. Use those frequencies to tell us about your work. Find the words that we'll need so we know what your occupation was.
I'm so glad I'm not seeing that.
Oh, you're going to see them when we're done.
Oh yeah.
And it's also going to be on your report. I also run them all through Google Lens. So if I'm missing something out of there, Google Lens will tell me what's going on there. Henry, not much coming out of the ladies. Can you give us some more words? I appreciate the image. Not sure if it's relevant. Wow, that's not much at all. Henry. Can you remind her to say whatever she hears? Just lift up her headset.
You have to say whatever you hear.
I know, I haven't heard anything.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure. Some people get in there and they forget to talk. Henry. Having a hard time hearing things. You're going to have to be a little bit more clear or just use the blue box. Show us what you did for a living.
The word true undermine.
Henry. Getting to be fall time around here. Getting closer to it. Can you tell us anything that happened in the fall? To you specifically? Wow.
Just once.
Well, we know you only died just once. Can you tell us how you died? Henry?
Heaven.
Okay. Is that where you go when you're not here? Henry? Jen seems to be picking up on this more. She's the one in the middle.
Torn?
Henry, we're the only ones in here tonight, so it's nice and quiet, just the way you like it. These folks want you to fill in some of the details that I don't tell about you to verify that you're here. Wow, they're really not saying that. Normally I can't get them to stop.
Oh.
Like, this is odd. Like, normally it's like bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, what did they just say? I missed something. Like, that's normally how this goes. It's very odd. Henry, let's go to the blue box for a minute. Can you give us an image of, you know, maybe your son's birthday? You would understand the imagery of that very specific holiday? You could tell us as well, however you want to portray that. I'm asking you a lot of questions tonight because we're not getting much of answers. Anyway, this is perfect temperature. What do you think? Is this good temperature? Is this good weather? I like when it's breezy like this. Easy to get cross-eyed in there. Henry? Ladies just aren't hearing much. Might be a little bit more clear, or just choose the blue box for images for us. We're running out of time. It's already been 7 minutes.
Yeah, all the black shadows, but I know. It wasn't the square image, but it was a lot of
I can only imagine.
the black thing.
The true story.
I'm trying to tell you a true story, Henry. You gotta help me fill in the blanks or teach me something new. Henry? Henry Timrod. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you know what your code word is. We're going to be coming to a close here soon.
I was.
Henry, Dr. Ladd, use your code word to let us know you're here. But Henry, you haven't really given us much or anything clear enough. I'm going to ask that you use the blue box some more. Try to give us a little bit more deeper detail. I asked for your son's birthday in an image format. That's very easy to do. We would all recognize that holiday. Henry, if you'd like us to leave, just use the word home. You're kindly obliged, but I would like at least one more image to come through. Seems like we're struggling by using the frequencies tonight, which is okay, Henry.
The one and only.
What's the image of? Type of year, or like time of year, or anything like that?
I don't see any leaves on anything.
Sportsman.
Henry, we're getting a sound that is just across the street. Can you tell us or show us what that sound is?
Jam.
Came out of the church, not the jail. Henry, what sound did we just hear? Down to less than a minute, Henry. Henry, feel free to answer any of the questions I've asked before we call this.
Refreshing.
So that we're leaving. Henry going once. Henry going twice. Good night, Henry. I will see you again on Friday. That's 2 days from now, so 3 nights. All right.
I've been running.
Been running.
I did it, so I just